If you're a business owner ready to stop playing small and start making big strides, you're in the right place. Joining us today is Cheri Petroni, founder and owner of the Oasis to Zen Transformation Spa in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cheri is here to share her unique approach to personal and business transformation. Her journey from school teacher to owning a transformation spa is nothing short of inspiring. If you're looking for ways to boost your mindset, sharpen your vision, and elevate your business and your personal life, this episode is packed with insights for you. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this conversation with Cheri. If you're a business owner ready to stop playing small and start making big strides, you're in the right place. Joining us today is Cheri Petroni, founder and owner of the Oasis to Zen Transformation Spa in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're looking for ways to boost your mindset, sharpen your vision, and elevate your business, this episode is packed with insights just for you. So grab a cup of coffee or the beverage of your choice, settle in, and let's dive into this conversation with Cheri Petroni. Welcome, Cheri. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I'm very excited to share with you today.
Absolutely. When I was looking at your website and listening to some of the interviews you've done before, I'm fascinated by your approach. So let's just dive in. Can you let people know what it is exactly that you do? And then we'll talk about how you got there.
Okay, yes, it is. It's very simple and can be very complicated if I get too much in the weeds. Pull me out if that's the
Okay.
case, because
I've got
I
it.
have dozens of different ways to get to the result of I don't want to experience XYZ anymore, or this challenge is keeping me from making more money or eating better, or my relationships at home or at work or both are challenging and I'm not sure why. And so people come to me with a set of circumstances they can't pinpoint. I'm doing the inner work. I call myself an inner landscape architect, where we go inside, pull the weeds, and then create a garden of alignment of energies that work with what each person wants, what their passion is, what their purpose is. If not, we work on that. And
Mhm.
also that they have the freedom that they want. So, in a nutshell, I just have somebody come to me and they say, I don't want to do this anymore. We do some somatic work. We do a little bit of inner looking and trying to find the core. And then from there, we work together, finding a set point, because there's usually a set point of energy where we end up getting stuck. It could be that your car keeps breaking down, or you make all this money and get all these clients, and then something happens and you have nobody for 2 weeks. So we find the core, we go through whatever it is for that person. And I love it because I never know either. And it's always so exciting to see what happens at the end. By the time we get to the end, we also have some strategy, some idea of where they need to go. I have referrals if they need something else. I know
Mhm.
you do some of that as well. Partners are the way to go when we know our genius is good, and to hand them over to someone else. They don't have to be with me for the rest of their life.
There's so much in what you just said
Mhm.
that I want to unpack a little bit. So let's go back a little bit. How did you even get started in this area? Is it something that always came naturally to you? Did you stumble on it and decide this is what I wanted to focus on? How did you get to that point where this is where you're really good at?
I feel like I whooshed out of the womb and said, "Hi, how can I help you?" I'm a
Mhm.
natural caregiver. I would say a recovering codependent, because it became a problem for me. I have a master's in education with an early childhood background. I
Mhm.
used to teach school, and I'm a little out of the box, and they don't like out of the box people. I was happy to move into the spa world. I became an esthetician and own a transformation spa in Las Vegas where I can do this work. Then I moved to the online piece. And the kicker was, the more I worked, the longer I worked, the more hours. My set points were keeping me at work. So, yes, my relationship was a mess. My kids were like, "Wait, she never comes home." And things were breaking down, or people weren't showing up, or they wanted to see if they could get another $5 off or another $10 as they're leaving, or they're mad at me. All of these belief oriented things of what I didn't think I was worthy of, or that I had the ability to be what I was. Obviously, there were some blocks, challenges, dare I say, trauma around certain things, which
Mhm.
doesn't have to be that you're run over by a truck and been in the hospital for 10 years or what have you. Childhood barriers kept me from doing what I needed to do in the spa. I started doing coaching work from the perspective of clearing beliefs, inner
Mhm.
child, inner voice dialogue, which is really just the voices in our head. When we get them straight and pull out your authentic self, that they can be in charge, it helps a lot. As I was learning how to do this, we did a lot of practice with each other. I became the person I was meant to be and still get to grow and learn because I'm not done yet. It helped me completely transform how I saw my business. I knew I had to take all of my trainings and share them with my clients who'd come in for, let's say, a facial and a massage. Then they'd say something. I'm like, "Ooh, that's your 3-year-old talking. Tell me what that meant." And then I would share with them what else I was doing. So my background in childhood psychology and early childhood education helps me hear when somebody is coming from that other space, which was a gift. I didn't even know that that was going to be something that was helpful. So it kind of came to me as a need, first of all. Didn't know how much depth I was going to get into or how big of an item it would be. But without the proper mindset and the ability to take you out of those spaces when you're going into them, because we all do. Motivation and procrastination are two biggies, but we sometimes don't know why are we doing that? What is
Right.
going on underneath that? Most of the time, unless we hit a really big trauma thing or something, which I'm trauma informed coach as well, so that's helpful. I know
Mhm.
where to stop,
Right.
and I stay in my lane.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important, and I wanna go back to that. One is, have you always had your own business, or when did you decide to create it sounded like you had the spa first, and then you started adding some other levels to it?
I was a teacher
Right.
since the late '80s. I did that for a while, got my master's, and I
Mhm.
had my kids and I came home for a little while, and then went back into the field of education. Very, very not long after that, because by then it was like 2000, 2001,
Yeah.
and my principal, who loved me more than life itself, he just was my biggest fan ever. He was like, "Oh, Mrs. Petroni, you don't want to go back there. They're not going to like what you do. You give them what they need, not the worksheets." And I was thinking, "Yeah, okay, you're old, you're getting ready to retire." And he was right. He was right, and I couldn't do it. I really tried, and I had some things that were said to me that were not true and hurtful. Every time I tried to do an outside event, they'd go, "Oh, no, see, you're just trying to take them out of the classroom because you don't want them to learn." And I'm like, "Okay, fast forward to now what do I do?" It was
Yeah.
really upsetting. So I thought, "What am I gonna do? I'm a teacher. This is what I do." Funny thing is now I use it again. My husband said something funny, and he says, "You could do whatever you wanna do." Which was true, but I didn't realize that. And I said, "He's right." So I decided to be an esthetician. Being an independent practitioner, I was always independent. I did always have my own business. And the weird thing was, because of the principal I worked with, I would say my education time was almost like I had my own business because I could set up everything as I wanted, do what I needed to do. And he trusted me. So I became an esthetician very
Mhm.
early on, started getting sick on the products. This is where the spa comes into play. I'm moving from one place to another, trying to clean up the products that I'm using, the
Yeah.
food that I'm eating. By 2014, I opened Oasis to Zen Transformation Spa. The reason I call it a transformation spa is because we're really about aligning the four energy bodies and making sure that we are good mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. As I learned more about food I have coaching with some of that and the energy and a Reiki master, every certification you can imagine in energy healing and crystals and all of that sort of thing, as well as the whole coaching background. For the average person, I say I do full spectrum
Okay.
healing and it
Yeah.
brings mind, body, and spirit together.
I think it's really interesting what you said, and there's a lot in there. So I want to pull some of the threads to make sure that people who are tuning in are actually
Mhm.
hearing the things you're saying because you always had a business and you always treated how you were looking at things as a business. But I
Mhm.
think one of the really interesting things is a lot of times we don't realize what we're good at. I
Mhm.
know for a long time I was really stuck in my identity as I'm a marketer. And it wasn't until I started really looking at everything and taking that if I don't call myself that and I don't call myself a business owner, what do I do? And I realized it was just covering up all the other details and things that I do that I'm really good at. Once I pulled that label off, it was like, "Oh, I can do anything." I'm not doing rocket science and brain surgery, but I can do anything when it starts to look like I don't have that limitation of that label.
Absolutely. I'm a woman business leader. I can do all of those things that I really don't want to do. And sometimes I'm doing them anyway. And I go, oh, there's that belief again. I have to do it alone. Why am I doing this? And then I do some of my own work. We have these things that we're gifted in. As you were speaking, I had an aha moment. All of those things that I was just talking about that I do, and I love to do it. What I love the most is connecting to people and helping them see where their blind spots are. This is where the piece of allowing that trust and building up to where, okay, but this is happening. We can do something with this. So I didn't realize when you were speaking, this is like, oh, yeah, that is sort of what I've been doing, refining and refining to see my gifts because I didn't see them. My goodness, I thought I was supposed to do everything.
Sometimes we lose track of our skills and strengths throughout our life. They're buried so low between these labels we put on ourselves or what we think the responsibilities we're supposed to take on are.
Mhm.
When you start to look at connecting and helping people find their blind spots and understanding where that potential can be, it becomes a whole different thing when you start to look at the different threads that make that up.
Mhm. They don't even know sometimes that they have that thread. And when they get to that possibility piece at the end, they decide, they'll just say, oh, great. And then it's that integration, that solidifying, that getting those roots down, the new roots, and then working with that.
And it's also looking at how to help create new patterns and proof. A lot of people need
Mhm.
that proof for their brain or for their subconscious. We'll do things that'll help you prove that. Start noticing those things that'll help you prove that because I see this a lot with my clients. Like they decided somewhere along the way, or they believe that they're too old for video, or that no one's going to want to listen to what they say when it comes to sharing for their business. Whatever that reason, belief, subconscious thing is, if you're gonna believe it, you're gonna believe it. You're being the first person to say no to you.
Mhm.
One of the questions that I wanna clarify to make sure there's a solid baseline in terms of what you're saying is you've mentioned set point a few times.
Mhm.
Can you describe that?
Yeah. A set point is basically the subconscious mind has a space that it allows you to go to a certain point, and that is your
Mhm,
set point. So I'll use weight because it's easy. A lot of us have tried to manage their weight and may lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever. And then you get right back up to, okay, wow, now I'm at that same point again or 5 pounds over. That's
mhm,
the set point that your body is comfortable with because your mind and the subconscious patterns, habits, generational things that are said to you when you're a kid. It's a set point. And that set point can be changed when we go in and find it, find out what is it that someone said or what experience did you have. And
mhm.
we do this somatically so that people can get out of their brain. It's not a mind thing. Then what happens from there, we get to set the set point. And then with money, because money is the one thing that is a driver more than anything else. For example, my parents always had a certain amount of money. It was never quite enough, but we weren't poor. And then they blow it on stuff. And so I could never quite figure out what was going on. I just knew there was something off. Neither one of them had the tools
Right.
or the background. And so I grew up with that set point. I remember one time my maiden name is Johnson, and my dad said, Cheri, we're Johnsons. We just work hard and we don't get that much. And I thought, I am not ever going to take that to the bank. And so I've worked on that a lot over the years. That's
Mhm.
a good example of a set point. That is where the brain almost subconscious is trying to save us all the time. That's the set point. It's getting ready to say, you better not go there because if you make too much money, you might actually get to have good food and vacations, but your body doesn't know that. So we have to train and upgrade our software in our brain to match the fact that our full frontal cortex now is 25 and above or close to 25, and we don't have to work from the software that we made in our minds by the time we were 8 years old. That's the reality. We're coming from old software.
And no one wants old software. It
The
doesn't help you move.
computers, so in a sense, when we think about our computer and go, why is this going so slow? Same thing with our mind, but it's been buried so deep we don't necessarily see the why. Sometimes, like my story just now, you could see why somebody said straight up that you weren't going to make that much money because we're Johnson, which is, I was to this day, I'm like, what was wrong with Johnson's? The reality was that was my set point for a long time. I'm the first one to say, oh, yeah, no, I won't take a raise. Or when I was a teenager, oh, I'll take that extra shift. Oh, you can't pay me overtime. That's okay. Uh,
When you talk about realigning that set point and aligning your energy for listeners, for people who are trying to grow their business, it is, whatever that version of success is that you have, whether it's more
mhm.
time, more freedom, more money, whatever that is. What advice do you have to someone who might be feeling like there's something stuck in their way, or that they might be feeling like, oh, that sounds like it's something for somebody else, but not for me?
And that is, if that's the first thing you think of is, oh, that's not for me, it's probably for you.
Yeah.
Because I also said, oh, I'm going to get these certifications, but I don't need them. I needed them more than many of the people that have come in to see me. So that's the first thing. And it doesn't hurt you to just come and talk to me.
Mm.
I have an earliest money story meditation as a free download. I like people to go through it and then have an integration session for free. So we have something to work with. So you
Mhm.
can see what could be underneath what was going on there. Sometimes you'll find that your money story had nothing to do with money. It had to do with an interaction or a thought that became truth for whatever reason. If they feel like they already have something, like, oh, I already know that there is this piece that I tend to take clients until 10 o'clock at night. Every day I say I'm never going to do it again. And here I am. It's 9:30 right now. I'm listening to this podcast, waiting for someone at 10 o'clock because I haven't had a client since 8, but I couldn't say no. That is also affecting our money. Belief or thought process has to be shifted and rearranged to work for you. We don't want to take everything away and have to start over. But yeah, the best thing is to ask. I had somebody call me today, a gentleman. I went and spoke at this woman's thing, and the three men that were there, all three of them called me, and the women did not. Interesting. We can do it alone. We
Interesting.
don't need to.
And there are so many things that, as far as like how some of those beliefs show up. I've been doing a lot of work
Mm.
for my business in terms of how do some of these things show up? They might be hidden in your business or in you. If you're a people pleaser, how is that showing up for your boundaries, sales, time, for employees, partners? How is being a people pleaser showing up through all the different areas of your business, or imposter syndrome, or whatever you might be struggling with? What is that holding you back? Not just in one area of your business, but across all the areas of your business, and what can that be like or feel like
Mhm.
if you change it? I see this all the time. People buy more courses than they need because we convince ourselves that we need to learn more, and that thing we need to learn is what's holding us back.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's not. It's the actual energetic beliefs or whatever somewhere in there that's holding us back. When we actually can take it,
Mm.
set it aside, then all of a sudden you have this new freedom to look at things a little differently, and then maybe those courses are helpful.
Yes. Courses, courses, courses. Isn't that what we do? It's a distraction to knowing that we're not doing what we need to do. I don't care how many more courses you do, it isn't going to do it. I can't even tell you how many I've bought, expensive ones, cheap ones, whatever. You gotta invest in yourself because then you'll have skin in the game. If it's not really what you want to do, it doesn't matter. It's going to sit there and you blew it. You just blew the money.
Absolutely.
So, yes, finding those points because what happens is we end up doing all of the logistics instead of taking, okay, this isn't working for me. Let's shift how we look at this. How do I
Mhm.
see myself in the world right now versus where I could be? And when I
Mhm.
shift how I see myself in the world, oh, I don't work past 7 o'clock, which if you're working till 10, that makes a big change.
Yeah.
And when they say, oh, then I'm going to go somewhere else. And I'm like, okay, I stay here till this time. I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And you might cry even for a minute because you're sad because you really are going to miss those people. Once you see yourself differently in the world, having support system, whether it's someone like me, some other type of coach, a mentor that is helping you through that. And if you don't have that, we're going to slide back because we need some sort of rooting group for us, whether it's a couple of people or even
Mhm.
someone. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able.
You said earlier that when you started learning all of this and started training that you needed some of these classes more than some of your clients, and I agree. The first time when I started learning NLP and some of the psychology pieces, I got way more out of it. I
Mm,
went in it for myself personally. I admired everyone I was meeting had similar training, and I was like, "I want that. What is it that they have,
mhm.
and how do I do that?" And I realized the power in a lot of the training that I was going through, and I realized I need more to be able to help other people with it too, and tie it into the other things I love doing. And so that's how I got into it. It gives me more tools to be able to say, "Okay, I'm gonna help these people, and I can help
Mm,
them." And I just wanna point out too that there's so many different coaches out there, and there's a ton of people. And as someone who's hired coaches,
not in alignment
they
with.
weren't aligned.
Yeah, yeah.
What advice do you give to someone who might be thinking, "I need to hire a coach, but to a past me, right? Like, I need to hire a coach, but I'm afraid because either I've never hired one before or I've done it before and they weren't aligned with me." Do you have any advice for someone that might be in that?
Don't get so excited and have a fear of missing out to where you just sign the bottom line before you've thoroughly vetted that person. I will say that there has been on a few occasions where I've said, if I join this now, I will overextend myself and I will not be able to do well in any of the other things I'm doing. One of the red flags that I started learning is if you don't do it now, then when? In 6 months, I will be out of alignment. It was a push. You just need to have the sale. It wasn't that person understood. I would want someone like myself. I don't push people. I want you to see the meditation thing that I do. It's really more of a session where you go in thinking deeply. Then I go through the process with you and we come up with something. That doesn't mean that I'm a good fit. You might think, oh, I want somebody that just goes, do this, do that. You want somebody that is going to understand and that can build a trust system so that you can say what it is that you really need to say without the fear of having someone say, oh, you're not going to come back in 6 months or whatever. I did that one time where I went back in 6 months and I walked up to the person. I said to her, I'm back and I'm ready to take your program now. Was a big mistake too, because it was nothing like what she said. And then I thought the joke was on me. If you think that maybe you need to wait and go in with new ears and eyes and look at it again before you take a course, if there's any sort of I'm just not quite sure. Find out what the block is. And you may know somebody else that does this kind of work. Not everybody, but I will say most of them don't do as deep as I do. I am told that all the time. And I didn't realize till recently, wow, I must really do something different because people that are well known in the city didn't even come close to this. And I'm like, hmm, interesting. I thought, wow, because I don't know. I just do what I do and I get
Yeah.
really good results. But if there's some sort of block as to why you're not taking the course and that person is pushing you, maybe you might want to take a look a little bit deeper. Also, see is the resistance you or is it that they're pushing you? One session of trying to find out, is this really going to work for me? Could save you thousands. just because maybe it's not a good fit. I wish I had done that to myself instead of thinking, oh, this is the next thing I need. My husband says that all the time. Is this the next thing that you need? Because he knows. And I go, no, 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 I don't. I really don't have a lot of courses that I'm doing right now because I'm really focused on, I need to share what I know with other people, especially to the world's just crazy right now. There's a lot of shifting and energies, and things are faster than we can really process. It's helpful to not have that added stuff that isn't necessarily real once we take a good look at it. Being worthless is absolutely not true for any of us. Yet, so much of the time, we have that in our heads, and it's renting space that has kept us from being
Mhm.
everything we could be and everything we don't want to be.
I had a couple more questions for you, but that was so powerful. I feel like I need to
Good, I'm glad.
I'm going to put the links in the show notes so anyone who wants to get a hold of Cheri can the information will be there, including the link to her energetic download and alignment and her website and everywhere you can find her. And Cheri, it's been amazing having you here, and it's just great to hear different perspectives and the different ways that you help and work with clients stand out and to help them stop feeling, if they're feeling stuck or invisible, to help them move forward. I really want to thank you for that. And go ahead.
Because you asked some really deep questions, and I love when a podcast host really gets in there with me. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. That's always nice to hear. Interviewing people is one of my favorite things to do because I have that natural curiosity. Tell me more. What do you do? What do you think? How do you approach things? How cool is it for your clients? And so I just really want to thank you. For those of you tuning in, this is the Invisible to Invincible podcast. I'm Kendra Losee. Don't forget that it's never too late to make your career and business work for you and not the other way around. Until next time, thank you.